Hi, everyone. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Pat.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
And today we're going to be looking at an inspiring story of somebody who lost her sight but found a completely new direction in life because of that.
And I think has turned into somebody that others can look up to as a model to follow, someone that you can inspire to be. I think, I don't know about you, Pat, but when I read this, I was really impressed with this person. And I tried to put myself in her shoes and think how hard it would be to change your life completely at that point. I've had to change some of my life because I used to be a full-time singer and then I got asthma, changes my life. But it's not to the point where I lost my vision.
Right.
I couldn't see, or I was suddenly deaf, or I lost a limb and I couldn't walk or, do the things that I was used to. So I think this is a great story for people to learn about how to handle trials and hardships that come into our life.
Yeah, I had a professor at one of the second university I went to, and he only had one leg. But he was still actually teaching a lot of the practical stuff.
Really?
So he would be in, it was kind of like a lab, and he was still moving around there on crutches.
Wow.
So it wasn't like he was just sitting or standing in a classroom delivering lectures. He was doing the practical stuff.
Wow.
And with one leg and just movement aids. So you do think, wow, if someone can kind of carry on doing that sort of stuff,
I admire those
you can
people.
overcome a lot of things.
You can.
So let's read through today's article to find out who our person is, what she overcame, and what she has managed to become.
Lizzie Jordan, a psychology student at the University of London, experienced a complete life turn in 2017 due to severe food poisoning. On that day, Jordan and her sister got some takeout. Little did they know that the food contained a rare type of bacteria. And unfortunately, Jordan fell into a coma. Facing multiple organ failure, she might not have survived. Thanks to relentless efforts from doctors, Jordan finally woke up, but she had lost her eyesight. Her entire world was suddenly plunged into darkness. The shock and despair were beyond words. Jordan hit rock bottom for a while, but instead of feeling sorry for herself, she chose to face her situation with positivity. When Jordan had accepted that she was blind, her next challenge was relearning how to walk. Each step in darkness felt like an overwhelming task, but Jordan resolutely began the long path to recovery. Just a few months later, Jordan set an ambitious goal for herself, participating in the 2019 London Marathon. She accomplished this goal and raised money for charity. Consequently, she started to explore cycling as a new endeavor. She found immediate success. Jordan's cycling coach, Helen Scott, was highly impressed with her enormous potential and determination. With this encouragement ringing in her ears, Jordan aimed herself at a new goal: to represent Britain at the upcoming Paris Paralympics. Now, Jordan navigates her new life and trials on and off the bike. She inspires everyone who finds themselves at a low point in life. Jordan shared, "It took a bit of my pride away, having to rely on someone or asking for help. I have learned over the 6 years to accept it, and actually it really helped me to be exposed to the para-sport community, because everybody has their struggles. So, you learn to be proud of your disability and what you can do with it rather than focus on what you can't do." Okay, guys, we're going to talk about Lizzie Jordan. That's the name of the person that we're focusing on. And her story of blindness, resilience, and triumph, you could say. So blindness, you know what that means. It's someone who has lost their eyesight. They can no longer see. Resilience is when someone has the ability to bounce back no matter what they've been through. Something can be resilient. That's the adjective form of that. But if someone says, oh, you have a lot of resilience, what they're saying is you're pretty tough and you're able to go through a difficult situation and not let it bend or break you. Well, it might bend you a little bit, but you don't break. So we often talk about the resilience of youth. You know, when you're young, you're able to go through things and bounce back. Or your body is very resilient.
Yeah. It just heals itself if you let it. Give it plenty of sleep. And so she came through blindness with resilience and she triumphed. But her story really begins, we see, about 6 or 7 years ago. It says Lizzie Jordan, a psychologist student at the University of London, experienced a complete life turn in 2017 due to severe food poisoning. So she was a psychology student. She studied human behavior. She studied why people think and behave in the way that they do.
Right.
It's a bit different. Don't confuse it with psychiatry, which is the medical side of it and treating people who've got mental issues and challenges and problems. Psychology is more about understanding the why than treating the what, as it were.
Right. Well, she was a student, and like Pat said, she had a complete life turn in 2017. Why? She ate some food that was poisoned. There was some food poisoning going on. I have a sister that had a same kind of thing. She ate something, and we almost lost her.
Wow.
Yeah, so I read this, and I went, wow. It affects people differently, but I could relate to this. So on the day that she was poisoned by something in the food, she and her sister had just gotten some takeout. Takeout is when you place an order and you go pick it up and then take it home to eat it. Little did they know, they didn't know, they had no idea that the food contained a rare type of bacteria. And unfortunately, after eating it, Jordan fell into a coma. A coma is when you're unconscious, you don't really know what's going on around you. You are still alive. Sometimes people are hooked up to machines.
Yeah, they may need assistance breathing.
Or their heart, helping their heart. You don't know. All of this from that bacteria, which can happen. I can tell you, my sister had an event with E. coli, which is also a bacteria that can lead to death. So what happened to Jordan is she faced multiple organ failure.
So we've got all of our organs. We've got our kidneys, liver, stomach, brains, and so on. Now, often one of these might fail, and that'll happen as we get older or sometimes as a result of a disease. But when multiple organs fail, that means the bacteria has invaded multiple areas and they're all going down at once. Your kidneys stop cleaning your water and passing that out. Your food isn't being broken down. Your brain's not able to work. Your heart maybe stops pumping so fast. So when multiple organs fail, because individually any one of those could kill you, but when it's multiple organ failure, the chances of survival are very low.
Yeah, they really are. But it says thanks to relentless effects or efforts from doctors, Jordan finally woke up. Relentless means you don't give up. You are so determined. You just keep going. And so she had really good doctors who refused to let her go. I think that's especially true with young people. I know with my sister, she had 3 little children. And her doctors, I know that they didn't think that she'd ever come back. Her heart had failed. Her lungs had failed. Her kidneys had failed. Multiple organ failure. They kept working and trying everything they could because she had children. And she was a young mom and so cute. But these were the same kind of doctors. They were relentless. They kept trying to work out how they could help her. And she finally woke up, so she regained consciousness. But sadly, she had lost her eyesight, so she was no longer able to see. You know, we don't know exactly what kind of bacteria it was, and bacteria can often affect bodies in different ways. So sadly, she lost her eyesight. And remember, she was a young college student.
So we see her entire world was suddenly plunged into darkness. To plunge means to go down, but if you're plunged into darkness, it's like you've kind of fallen into the bottom of a hole.
Right.
And you're just surrounded by darkness. And so there's almost a double meaning in here that she was plunged in terms of her life taking a big dip.
Yeah.
The shock and despair were beyond words. If something's beyond words, it's so bad you can't really describe it. You just can't put words to explain exactly how bad things are, how shocked, surprised, and how in despair you are. You just can't explain it. Words won't be enough to convey that sort of feeling.
Yeah. And it says Jordan hit rock bottom. This is kind of a phrase we use to talk about when you've reached the lowest point imaginable in your life. You just don't have any hope at all. You hit rock bottom. Sometimes when people are addicted to drugs or alcohol, their families will wait for them to hit rock bottom before they're able to give them some help. Or these people with addictions are able to say, yeah, I need to change my life. Well, she had hit rock bottom for a while, feeling like, what was the point? My life is gone. My life has been destroyed. But instead of feeling sorry for herself, she chose instead to face her situation with positivity. Positivity means you try to look at life, hopefully, try to see, what's good there. And she saw a lot of good that was still there. So when Jordan had accepted that she was blind, that's the first step.
Yeah. Like, it's never going to come back. I'm never going to be able to see. Maybe at some point they might be able to create, there are bionic eyes out there, like robot-style eyes, but we're still a long way away from them being as good as they could be and as affordable as we would want them to be.
Yeah, they're very expensive right now. After she did accept that she was blind, then that wasn't going to change. Her next challenge was relearning how to walk. So she's kind of going back to the first steps, as small children that, we learn how to walk first. You think, it sounds like it's really easy, but wow, it changes everything.
When you can't see where things are, where you're putting your foot, like you've got no idea.
Yeah.
Like, because your body will be telling you, you don't know if it's safe or not. It's probably easier for a kid to learn the first time than an adult to relearn everything again.
I was thinking that. When I read that, I thought, it would have been easier to be born blind, because then you don't know what's out there and what you can do. And, it's really hard when you have something, then it's taken away. So we're going to talk more about her recovery and her eventual triumph. But first, guys, we're going to listen to our Chinese teacher for a while.
Hello everyone, 我是派老师。今天讲解的是5月27号 Unit 14 Blindness, Resilience and Triumph The Story of Lizzie Jordan 这个单元是文艺选填的练习题，内容是一篇短篇的人物传记。大家有没有想过食物中毒可以有多严重？ Lizzie Jordan 念大学的时候因为食物中毒严重昏迷，后来虽然在医生抢救之下恢复意识，不过却也因此失明。不过他对人生没有放弃希望，不但可以行走跑步，甚至可以骑自行车，依然对生命充满热情。好，我们在主题解说前要再次提醒大家，答题的时候先看看有哪些选项可以选，把这些选项的词性大致上标出来。虽然有些字不止一种词性，可是可以根据句子的结构判断这一题空格应该要填入什么词性的动词，再根据文意找正确选项，会比较有效率哦。好，我们一起来解题吧。文章开头提到 Lizzie Jordan 是伦敦大学的心理系学生，2017年的时候严重食物中毒，整个生命就此完全转变。那一天 Jordan 和姐妹们外带了一些食物，接着呢，请看第一题的题干，他们不知道那些食物空格一种罕见的细菌 Jordan 不幸陷入昏迷。从 the food 一直到 bacteria 为止都是 that 名词子句，在整个句子里面呢是 know 这个动词的受词，他们所不知道的事情。然而名词子句当中并没有动词，所以需要从选项里找个动词，再用文意筛选，考量前后文连贯，因此第一题正确答案是 G contained 含有。接着请看第二题，面临多重器官衰竭，原本可能会丧命的，多亏医生努力不懈 Jordan 终于醒来，不过却因此失明，整个世界突然空格黑暗。 在 be 动词之后，有 80% 的机会会搭配过去动词做被动语态。这里考量前后文加上 I plunged into， 恰恰构成陷入的意思。因此，第二题正确答案应该选 I， 表示眼睛失明让他整个世界陷入黑暗。紧接着，请看第三题。这个句子的主词 the shock and 空格，对了，连接词也应该是名词。我们从前后文来筛选，第三题正确答案是 A despair 绝望，表示震惊和绝望无法言喻。Jordan 一度陷入人生低谷，但比起自怜自爱，他选择积极面对自己的处境。紧接着，请看第四题。当 Jordan 接受了空格，下一个挑战就是重新学习如何走路。在 she was 这个 be 动词 was 之后，可以接形容词做主词补语，让我们知道 Jordan 接受自己是怎么样的状态。所以第四题答案选 C blind 失明，表示 Jordan 在接受自己已经失明之后，接下来的挑战就是学着走路。
We'll take a short break and we'll be right back with part 2. Welcome back, everyone. We're carrying on with the story of Lizzie Jordan, and she has to relearn how to walk after losing her sight. The article says each step in darkness felt like an overwhelming task. So something that's overwhelming is too much for you. Like you just want to give up because it's so difficult. It's too much for you to just deal with at any one time. And that's just taking a step. One step is like, this is so difficult. How do I know where I'm going? How do I know what's in front of me? But Jordan resolutely began the long path to recovery. If you're resolute, that means you've really set yourself. You've told yourself, I am going to do this. I'm not going to give up. I've made a resolution. We've all heard of New Year's resolutions. Yeah. You've made a promise to yourself. So this is just the adverb. She's doing it resolutely. She's doing it. She's going to keep her promise she's made to herself. She's not going to give up no matter how hard it is.
I wanted to mention, too, with the overwhelming, we'll often use it to talk about emotions. Like if you feel overwhelming sadness or overwhelming pain, it's so great that you kind of don't know how to react to it. Or maybe you're starting a new job and it feels overwhelming to you because there's so many new things that you have to learn about. But if you keep going forward and putting one step in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, you'll eventually know what you're doing. And she just was very resolute about keeping on a path of positivity and not giving up, not being negative, you know, always complaining about things. She tried to be positive. So she knew it was going to be a long path to recovery or, you know, coming up with a new way to live her life because her old life was gone. So just a few months later, after she, you know, relearned how to walk, she set an ambitious goal for herself. It's a really big goal. That's why we say it's ambitious. It's really a high goal she set for herself, and that was to participate in a marathon, the 2019 London Marathon. A marathon is a long race for runners, and I have friends who have participated in them. I think they look horrible.
No, I don't think I could do it. 26 miles.
Yes, 42 kilometers for those of you out there that are doing the kilometers. Yeah, it's too long for me.
But she didn't just set that goal, she made it. We see she accomplished this goal and raised money for charity.
Good for her.
Yeah, a charity is any company or organization that raises money for people or animals or things in need. They do pay their staff or they'll use a lot of volunteers, but their goal is not for profit. They are making money to give to deal with particular sicknesses, to deal usually with a single or a couple of closely linked causes. And the London Marathon is really big for this. Like except for the professional athletes, most people who are taking part in it are doing it for charity and they're raising money for various causes.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's how it should be. So our next word here is consequently. If you speak British English, it's consequently.
Yep, I'd say consequently.
And if you speak American English, it's consequently.
Small difference.
Yeah,
but it's there.
Difference. And you know what? Either way you say it, it's going to be great.
Yes.
So try to use this word. What it means is as a result of something else. So it also is a synonym for therefore. Therefore, this happened. So because of this, because she'd set an ambitious goal and she'd achieved it and raised money, consequently, because of this, she started to explore cycling as a new endeavor, which sounds insane to me. I was talking to Pat before we started about how difficult it would be trying to ride a bike blind because you're also without your sense of balance. Your balance has probably changed as well.
Yeah, but it might improve because balance is linked to hearing, and I would expect a blind person's hearing to sharpen over time.
We have studies that have shown us that if you are missing one of your senses, like your eyesight, your other senses will be sharper or keener. They'll work better. An endeavor is something that you, a goal that you try to achieve, an attempt to do something. So now she's looking at cycling as a new endeavor.
And she found immediate success. We see that Jordan's cycling coach, Helen Scott, was highly impressed with her enormous potential and determination. So these are two different things. Your potential is what you can achieve, all the possibilities that a person has. So if you look at somebody, particularly a young person, you think, wow, they've got a lot of potential. They could go on if they have the right kind of training, if they keep at it, if they get some guidance. They could become really great at this sport. You know, you might see a kid in high school who's really tall, really athletic, and you go, that kid's got the potential to be a great basketball player. You know, a big, strong guy, he's got the potential to be a great football player with that build. It means they need coaching and training. They haven't reached that level that they could reach, but the possibility is there.
Yeah, they may have been born with natural talent, natural ability, but anyone with natural ability knows that you also have to work hard at it. And those that are willing to work hard usually achieve their goals. I know people that had a lot of potential that never worked hard, and they never were successful. And it's kind of sad because they had that natural ability. You could also talk about a company having a potential for growth, for example, where they've had some good products that look like they'll sell well. Well, she not only had enormous potential, she had something that I think is even more important in life, and that's determination. Determination is that ability to continue trying to do something even when things get really tough or really difficult. You're determined to achieve something. If you're determined, that's the adjective form, but determination, of course, is the noun. Determination, that ability to continue trying even when things are hard. If you have a lot of determination and you keep trying, eventually your time will come and you'll be successful at whatever you're trying to achieve.
So with this encouragement ringing in her ears, Jordan aimed herself at a new goal to represent Britain at the upcoming Paris Paralympics. If something is ringing in your ears, it's not literally doing that, but it means somebody has said something to you that has made an effect. It's made an impression on your memory, and you're going to remember those words and they're going to continue having an effect, almost as if that person is still standing next to you saying those same words.
Right. It is kind of, a popular, I guess it's an idiom.
It's an idiom,
ringing in your ears.
Yeah.
It could be different things. Maybe you did experience something that was really loud and noisy.
Yeah, and you got that ringing
afterwards. That ringing in your ears.
Like after a really loud rock concert.
Yeah. Oh, and that happens. But here, as Pat said, it's just something that is uppermost in your memory because it had a large impact. So with this encouragement ringing in her ears, she aimed herself at a new goal, and that was to represent Britain at the upcoming Paris Paralympics. Paralympics, I discovered, was first, the idea for it came in 1948.
Yeah, it's an old one.
Yeah, and it was from England. We had a lot of injured World War II veterans, soldiers, that had lost limbs or, what have you, and they wanted to let them have a chance to compete as well. So it's now ongoing. It usually happens right after Olympics
the Olympic Games.
Just, the the regular folks. And these folks all have some sort of disability, and they are competing against others, which is great.
Yeah. And it's upcoming. So we're now in May. Of course, the Olympic Games is going to be in July, August. So it's this summer in Paris, in France. The Olympic Games and then the Paralympics.
Cool.
So we see now Jordan navigates her new life and trials on and off the bike. So to navigate means to find one's way somewhere. So here it's kind of got a double meaning because, of course, she's on a bike and she'll be navigating a race course or just riding around her local neighborhood. And, of course, she needs to be extra careful as a blind cyclist. But she'll also be navigating in terms of finding her path through her life with blindness because more challenges will be thrown up. There'll be more difficulties that she'll have to overcome at different times. So she's got to navigate those things with the same determination and resolution, using words from earlier, as she's shown already.
And we think it's going to be very inspiring. She inspires everyone who finds themselves at a low point in life. Sometimes life knocks you down. And you need someone that can inspire you. If you're inspired by someone, there's someone you're looking at who encourages you by making you feel more confident or eager to try something. You're not going to give up. So she has been inspiring for a lot of people, I think. Jordan shared this following quote. These are her words. She says, "It took a bit of my pride away, having to rely on someone or asking for help. This would be my problem."
Yeah, it'd be very hard if you're used to being independent and making your own way. It's difficult to then admit, I need help.
Oh, it's horrible for people who are prideful, especially. I have learned over the 6 years that she's been blind to accept it. And actually, it really helped me to be exposed to the parasport community because everybody has their struggles. If you're exposed to something,
you come into contact with it.
Yeah, you come into contact, you see it, you experience it, and usually it helps you.
Yeah, usually it changes you in a way. If you're exposed to something, then it'll change you. You maybe grow your ideas, broaden your mind, give you new perspectives, that kind of thing.
I think that's perfect. And that's what happened to her. Because as she said, everybody there had their own struggles. And she says, so you learn to be proud of your disability and what you can do with it, rather than focus on what you can't do. So again, she's looking at the positive side of this, and she's very optimistic in her viewpoint.
Which is great. And that's the end of the article. We're going to hand you over one more time to our Chinese teacher before we come back to wrap things up.
紧接着是第5题，在黑暗中的每一步都感觉像是艰巨的任务。不过 Jordan 坚决地开始了漫长的空格道路。Path 是道路途径的意思，后面的 to 是介系词，表示到达哪里，后面必须接名词。我们用前后文筛选，第5题选 E recovery 复原。再来我们看第6题，仅仅几个月之后 Jordan 为自己设定了一个空格目标，参加2019年伦敦马拉松。我们需要形容词修饰 goal 目标。考量前后文文意，第6题应该选 D ambitious 野心勃勃的，有抱负的，表示 Jordan 设立了一个高远的目标，以他的现况而言是相当大的挑战。紧接着请看第7题，对等连接词 and 前后连接2个子句，后面的是 raise money for charity 为慈善募款，对等连接词前面也需要动词才对等。从选项里，我们用前后文做文意的筛选，所以第7题答案选 B accomplished 完成，表示他实现了这个目标，并为慈善募款。接着我们看第8题，前一句提到，因此他开始探索自行车运动作为新的尝试，很快就成功了。那我们看题干 Jordan 的自行车教练对他这个非常巨大的潜力还有决心怎么样。 Was 是过去式第3人称单数 be 动词， be 动词后面有80%的机会会搭配过去分词做被动语态，这个我在前面就提过了。之后呢，我们再用前后文文意做确认，所以第8题的答案选 F impressed with 表示印象深刻。这里文意是说 他相当有潜力，而且呢有很强大的决心，让自己的自行车教练对他印象非常的深刻。第3段，现在 Jordan 在自行车上还有自行车以外的新生活还有挑战当中不断的前行，激励了在生活低谷的人。这请看第9题， Jordan 和大家分享他自己的感受。因为不得不依赖他人寻求帮助，这也带走了我的一些空格。 My 我的是所有格，后面加名词，我们用上下文做筛选。第9题答案选 J Pride 自尊骄傲。在这6年当中，我学会了接受，实际上接触帕奥团体确实对我有所帮助，因为每个人都有自己的困难。接着第10题 Your 你的一样是所有格，后面加名词，用上下文筛选。第10题答案选 H Disability 失能障碍的意思。好，以上是我们对文艺选填所做的中文讲解，希望同学多多练习，我们下次见咯，拜拜。
Okay, thank you very much, everybody, for being with us. We hope you've enjoyed this tale of blindness, resilience, and triumph, and the story of Lizzie Jordan. Thank you very much for listening, for everybody. For English Digest, I'm Pat.
I'm Stephanie.
And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.